Hello and welcome to another episode of the Common Man's Take on Sports with Kevin and Quentin. Quentin will be out again today, but he should be returning soon. Let's talk about the wild card results from baseball. So I thought that at least a couple of those 3-game series would go the 3 games, but none of them did. The Rangers swept theirs, the Twins swept their series, the Phillies swept their series, and the Diamondbacks swept their series. So um, that was surprising, but then again, that's baseball. That is how it happens. It's again, I kind of talked about in the last podcast. It's all about how you're swinging the bats and if your pitchers are on target or not. It's baseball is funny like that. The Marlins got swept by the Phillies. It wasn't even a series for that one. Diamondbacks swept the Brewers. The Twins and Blue Jays games were pretty close both times. And Rangers swept the one that surprised me the most was probably the Rangers sweeping the Tampa Bay Rays. I thought the Rays would give the Rangers a run for their money, and I thought that series would go 3 games and would come down to a very tightly contested game, but it did not. The Rangers very handily handled the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, and so I was definitely surprised at that outcome. I did not expect the Rays to get beat. The game was last night was 7-1, and the game on Tuesday was 4-0. So they handled the Devil Rays without any trouble whatsoever. I knew that Miami had stumbled into the playoffs, but man, I thought they would give the Phillies a better series. Also, I was not expecting that. The Phillies beat them 4-1 on Tuesday, and then 7-1 last night when they hit that grand slam. So that was 2 series that I thought would be a little more competitive that were not. I was definitely surprised that those series weren't any more competitive than they already were. But that's how it goes. So the American League Division Series will start Saturday, October the 7th, along with the National League Division Series. You have the Rangers at the Orioles, which I think that'll be a good series to watch between those two. Although the Orioles were kind of falling off a little bit there towards the end of the season. You have the Twins and the Astros, which the Twins really surprised me in their series, and so they may actually give the Astros a run for their money. So that may actually be a really good series to watch. You have the Phillies and the Braves, which should be a good series to watch. And then the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers, which should be another pretty good series to watch, I think. I think all those are going to be tough games. I don't think either any team will run away with that from the others. We'll see how that goes, but I think all those matchups should be pretty good to watch and should be pretty good to play out. So I'm ready to watch some of those on Saturday while I'm watching some college football. I still have right now. I still have Atlanta. I still think they're the team to beat. I think that they have the best chance to win the World Series at this point. I don't think anything's changed so far. My money is still on Atlanta. I think they've been the best team during the regular season and towards the end. So I still think Atlanta's the better team out of everybody, but we'll see how that works. The Dodgers also look pretty good. So my World Series winner is probably whoever wins between if the Dodgers and Braves meet in the National League Championship. Whoever wins that, I think is going to win the World Series between the Dodgers and the Braves. Diamondbacks are good. They're hot. The Phillies are hot. So either one of those could. The Phillies really have an opportunity to beat the Braves because they are hot. They ended the season hot on a hot streak, and they've carried that into the playoffs. If you watch that series with the Marlins, their bats were hot. Their pitching was on point. So the Phillies are definitely really, really hot right now. So they do have an opportunity to beat the Braves if they continue that hot streak with their bats and with their pitching. So either way, even if the Phillies win and beat the Braves, I still think the World Series champion this year is coming out of the National League. I really think it's coming out of the National League. That would be my pick, and just based off play between the two leagues, the National League is, I think, head and shoulders above the American League, but we'll see. Moving on to a little bit of hockey. Hockey started a few weeks ago. And that's pretty exciting games already. You had the Red Wings and Penguins last night. That was a good one. The Red Wings came away with a win 2-1 against the Penguins. The Blue Jackets and Sabres was another good one. The Blue Jackets ended up winning 5-3. And then the Seattle Kraken and the Canucks played. That was a very good game, and the Kraken ended up winning 2-1. So some really good games were on last night. Right now, you got a few teams that are kind of separating themselves. You got the New Jersey Devils, who are 6-0 currently. You have the Senators, who are currently 5-1. The Tampa Bay Lightning, who are 4-1. You got the Detroit Red Wings, who are 4-2. And the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are 3-1. So we got a couple of teams there in the Eastern Conference kind of separating themselves. Western Conference, you got Dallas, who's 4-0. You got Minnesota, who's 3-1. And then you got the LA Kings, who are 5-1, and Edmonton Oilers, who are 4-2. And the Calgary Flames, who are 4-2, and Anaheim is 4-2. So you got some teams out there that are looking pretty good so far. Obviously, it's early. A lot of games left to play. Right now, as I look at it, I think that the New Jersey Devils and the LA Kings look really good right now in their respective divisions. And they have really separated themselves from everybody else currently. Both are playing really good right now. And look good for the season as long as they continue what they're doing. I like those two to be leading their divisions. Excited to watch some more hockey. It's fall, so all those fall sports are starting up. Basketball will be soon to add on to football. So I'm excited. I know Quentin's excited. He's ready to watch some basketball. Like basketball and football are his two favorite sports, so he really gets into it in the fall when football and basketball start. He loves it. There has been a little bit of a recent rivalry in the NBA between the Lakers and the Nuggets, based off that Western Conference Finals series they played last year. I know that after the Nuggets swept the Lakers 4-0, me being a Lakers fan, I wasn't very happy about that, but I did know that Denver was a very well put together team. Those guys looked really good all season long, and they looked really good in the playoffs. They were a buzzsaw, and they were actually my pick to win the finals just because of how good they looked during the season and how good they had looked in the playoffs up until that Western Conference Final Series. But there's a bit of a rivalry. I know that at the end of the Western Conference Finals, Mike Malone, the coach of the Denver Nuggets, was talking a little bit of trash there because he thought that too much attention was being paid to the Lakers in the media and not the Nuggets. And then in their celebration parade after they won the finals, he got introduced on the float as the Lakers' daddy. I think a couple of Lakers players took that personally. So I think they're ready to play the Denver Nuggets again. Somebody asked Mike Malone the other day what he thought about it, and all of a sudden he's tight-lipped about it. He's like, "Oh, I don't have anything to say about that. Oh, they're still talking about us." Like he didn't instigate all that with all his comments in the offseason. So that'll be interesting to see that matchup this year. I know the Lakers have made some moves. Actually, I think they made some pretty good moves to complement Anthony Davis and LeBron James. So we'll see how that shakes out. I know that I have to go back and look when me and Quentin do our NBA preview, but I think the Nuggets only lost one player in their free agency. So I think they kept most of their core intact and their bench. So they might be primed to be back-to-back champs. We'll never, you never know. We'll see what happens when the season starts, but we'll do that preview here probably next week sometime. Me and Quentin will sit down and do a preview of the NBA because I know the preseason games will be starting soon. So we'll kind of do our NBA preview during the preseason. But I found that interesting. I saw that article this morning about Mike Malone, and I just thought his answer was kind of funny since he spent all offseason talking about the Lakers. And now he's acting like, oh, they're still talking about us? Oh, we let that go. We've moved on. That's funny, Mr. Malone. Wow. But rivalries like that are always good, especially fresh ones and new ones that get created based off teams' recent success and playing. And I think new rivalries are always good too. You like to see new ones, new players. That's good for the sport and good for the game. So I believe the Lakers and Nuggets open up together too for their first season games. So that'd be pretty interesting. The Lakers could play spoiler to the Nuggets raising their championship banners on opening day. I'll definitely be watching that game for sure. But yeah, I found that article pretty interesting. And I want to go back to, I know on the last podcast I spoke a little bit about Deion and kind of the narrative they're creating around him about how all the coaches are against him. That's not true, but I just want to clear something up too. Like I like Deion. I liked him as a player. When I was a kid, I grew up watching Deion play. I like Deion, and I don't have any issues with the trash that he talks. That's him. That's just who he is. He talks a lot of mess. There's nothing wrong with that. Players have done that forever. He did it as a player. He does it as a coach. I mean, that's just who he is. And so that I don't have any problem with that. My only thing is he talks all that mess, and the media gives him a pass. But then as soon as somebody talks trash or says something back to him, all of a sudden they're a bad guy. Like, look, man, if you're gonna talk the trash and put a target on your back, when somebody hits a bullseye on that target, man, you got to take that. You got to accept it, and you learn from it. You get better from it, and you move on. But you can't get mad about it because you asked for it. And so a lot of that whole Dan Lanning speech, I mean, that was due to, the stuff that Deion says in his interviews and on those podcasts that he does. Like, these media outlets can't act like he's innocent. Deion is not innocent by any means. Again, if you talk trash, you got to expect to get it back. And you can't get mad when you get it back because that's just what it is, man. If you talk trash, you're going to get trash talked to you. That's, Larry Bird never got mad when somebody talked trash back to him. He just did what he does. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, they used to say that, you shake the tree and the mamba falls out. They're like, don't mess with Kobe because if you talk trash, like, he's going to come after you. Like, that's the way it is. Like, you can't talk trash and not expect somebody to return the favor. So that's all I was saying for that. Like, I don't know why all these media outlets are mad at Dan Lanning's speech. Like, it is what it is, man. Like, Deion talks all the time. He's in all these dang podcasts and interviews, and even in his speech after he got beat down by Oregon, like, he wasn't humble. Like, that was not a speech of a humble man. Like, he was like, you better get me now, because this is the worst we're gonna be. You better get me now. And it's like, if that's the way that you're gonna be, then you have to accept, what comes after. So again, I don't have any problem with Deion not being a humble person. He's a great player. He was a great player, a Hall of Famer, probably one of the best DBs to ever play the game. And there's probably a handful there that are even in the conversation with him. The Rod Woodsons, the Charles Woodsons, the Deion Sanders, Darryl Greens. Like, there's a handful of players that were at that elite level, and he was one of them. And as a coach, he's been great. He's got a lot of work to do, but I think if he stays at Colorado and doesn't bolt for a different, better job, I think that he can turn Colorado around and make them a national contender if he sticks with it and stays with them. But as far as what the media is trying to put out there about coaches colluding against him, man, that's nonsense. Nobody cares what he's doing in Colorado. Like, he's doing what he's doing, right? He's recruiting just like everybody else is recruiting. Everybody finds an angle. And Deion's got his angle. He's using it to the best of his ability. Coaches don't care about that. All they have to do is find a way. They just know that they're going to have to find a way to beat his angle if they want to get some of those kids in, because what he's doing is going to draw some kids to Colorado in the future. Having all those stars around and having the black stars around and kind of creating that culture there. That's awesome, and that's going to bring players there. So I think he's doing the best he can as far as recruiting and drawing people out of the transfer portal as he can. I don't think coaches are mad at him about it. I don't think they're mad at him at all. I think they're just trying to figure out how they're going to combat what he's doing so that he doesn't get all the recruits. So that's all I was saying on that. I don't have any problems with Deion. Deion is Deion. He's always been Deion Sanders. He's always been unapologetically Deion Sanders, and that's the way he should be. He should be unapologetic for who he is. He should be who he is, and coach how he is, and do the things that he does. Um, so that's kind of all I had to say about that. I just didn't understand why the media was making such a big deal about it. I didn't think it was as big a deal as they were making. We got a Bears Commanders game tonight. If I had to take a guess, just based off recent history, the Commanders will probably win that game. The Bears have had a struggle this year. They're probably going to have the number one pick again. But yeah, Commanders and Bears. I'll probably watch that. Watch a little bit of it. See how that goes. But it's not the most exciting game I could think of watching. I think a lot of the exciting games are going to come on Sunday. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the week, or maybe on Saturday. But yeah, I'll probably watch a little bit of that Bears Commanders game just to see how that shakes out. But my pick would be the Commanders to win that game. The Bears just seem to be struggling, man. They're always struggling. I don't know what's going on with their coaching staff or their front office, but man, they just can't seem to get it right. And it's sad, to be honest, because no team or franchise should struggle for that long. That's horrible. But I don't have much to say because I'm a Panthers fan and they've been struggling for a while also. So I guess I can't really say much about the Bears and their organization. I do want to take a moment to send out some prayers and that I hope it looks like everybody's going to be okay from all the victims, but unfortunately there was another shooting on campus at Morgan State. And it's unfortunate that this is going on. This is another such event. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it just seems like this is happening on college campuses more and more recently, and I don't know what to do to change it. I don't know what we need to do as a society to fix this, but man, this is just getting a little out of control, I feel like, because I feel like every morning I get up, like there's another story about a on-campus shooting, and it's crazy. But yeah, I just send some prayers out to the Morgan State victims. It was four men and one female, and they are expected to survive. They were just minor injuries, but man, that's just, we got to get better as a society. This is crazy. I hate to see this. It's a shame that that's in the news, but man, I will say there was some news that did come out that Joel Embiid has also agreed to be on the U.S. Olympic team in 2024 with LeBron James. So we got two great players, two all-stars, two superstars who are going to play for Team USA in the Paris Olympics. So that's a plus. I think that'll be good for us because I will be honest with you. Again, I know I've said it. I probably sound like a broken record, but that team that they assembled for the FIBA World Championships was horrible. Them young kids aren't ready, man. They need some veteran leadership. So that's good that Embiid, that bodes well for the U.S. Olympic chances of winning a gold medal to have LeBron and Embiid both committed to playing in the 2024 Paris Olympics. So that is definitely a plus. With that is all I have for today. I thank you guys for listening. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Quentin should be back for the next show. Don't forget, if you like the show, please subscribe, hit the like button, leave us a review. Tell your friends about us, tell your family about us, spread the show around. We'd like as many followers and listeners as we can get. We're on almost every platform for podcasts. You can find us on FM radio, iHeartRadio. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on just about any podcast platform. You can also find our links to our podcast platforms in our Facebook and YouTube page on our homepage at kmisom.podbean.com. We do have a YouTube channel. If you guys don't like downloading podcasts, or your friends don't like podcasts, hey, send them over to our YouTube channel. We post our episodes there as well, where you can listen to them. If you listen to them on there, please hit the like and subscribe button. We truly appreciate it. We truly appreciate everybody who listens. We have a Facebook page also that you can go to. First name Kevin, second name Quentin. We appreciate everybody who's listening and continues to listen. And we hope you guys come back again for the next show. Thank you.